Macedonia 158, and today I'm going to talk about my top 10 favourite game series. Now, there's probably some that I really like that probably aren't on this list because there's way too many series I like, but these are games which mostly very few bad games in them that I don't like to get on this list. I mean, there's a few honourable mentions before we get on with it, like Yu-Gi-Oh games. So most of them pretty much play the same because they're all based off the card games, so that's why it kind of gets cut off this list. Yeah, there's some spin-off games, but they're a lot rarer. So that's like an honourable mention for this list. It's not part of the list though. Right, so number 10's a tie between Skylanders and Disney Infinity. Now, I like these for different reasons. Disney Infinity has an entirely different playstyle than Skylanders. Skylanders has been out a lot longer than Disney Infinity. It's been out 2 years more, I think. Definitely the games, well, the second Infinity game were a bit but yeah, the third one were a better game. Well, anyway, yeah, that was that one. I don't know, I just like the gameplay of them. That's the best description I can say for this one. People bash them because you need to buy extra stuff for them, but the thing is, you don't fully need to buy as much as people expect. I mean, for the newest one, Superchargers, the only things you need to technically buy to like access every area of the game pretty much is a plate, is a sky vehicle, and a water vehicle. What they call sea vehicles in the game, I think. But because since the game already comes with a land vehicle, all the areas you can do. That's only two extra things you have to buy to access all the areas in the regular story mode. You have to pay a bit more if you want to unlock some of the other optional stuff, like next race tracks, but you don't need them. There's plenty to do without that, so it's a bit worse for the older ones. You need a bit more figures for that because this silly lock gate crap, and it was kind of annoying, I must admit, but I like the figures as well. So you've got, and that's the plus side about that series. If you buy a figure for one game, it will work in the previous one. In the ones that not the previous ones. Well, it will work in the previous ones if it's based off a figure from the earlier games, the different pose of it. But yeah, if you buy a figure, it work with the next game, and you don't have to buy a new one. That's a plus point. I've got not much else to say about that. Just Skylanders, yeah. Right, number 9, Wario games. And that's a bit, you could say, well, that's kind of a bit cheating, but the reason why I could put Wario, is that Wario? I think it's Wario, innit? But it's pronounced Wario or something, whatever. Well, anyway, his games are usually gameplay-wise and style-wise look kind of different than Mario's. They have entirely different enemy styles to them. It's like you fight weird things like zombie clowns and turn to vampire bats and other crazy things in Wario ones. But you don't in Mario games. They just use the same things over and over and over again. And Wario has his own series of games. The most out of any Mario character, non-Mario Mario character. I mean, the Wario Land series got 4 games, and then there was Wario World, and then Wario the Shake Dimension. So technically, there's 6 Wario platform games out there. And meanwhile, Luigi's got Mario is Missing, which most people wouldn't care about. And Luigi's Mansion 1 and 2. So yeah, Wario. There's also the other Wario series out there, WarioWare, which itself is kind of interesting when you think about it. Not because it's one of my favourite minigame collections, but at the same time, it kind of predicted the future. Because the plot of WarioWare is Wario wanting to make loads of really small games and make a small fortune off it, then do a run. That's pretty much how the mobile phone business works with games these days. So it's like Wario predicted the phone game industry about 5 years before it actually happened. That's the way most people probably think of. But yeah, there's like one stinker Wario game, and that's Wario Master of Disguise on the DS. And the only reason why it's a bad game is because it forced touchscreen controls on you. Yeah. That is doing all these weird DS signals to transform you, change form to do bosses is what made the game hard. Otherwise, it being an easy game, it's a perfect example of a game that was completely ruined by a single idea. Like that and this stupid Sphinx bit where you have to manually type words in. If you spell it wrong, it instantly kills you. That was a stupid bit as well. But get rid of them 2 bits, and yep, it's as pretty much as good as the rest of the series, which is a shame. Well, anyway, now the 8th one is Earth Defense Force. You might not now, not to be mistaken with the Super Nintendo game Earth Defense Force. That's an entirely different game. That's nothing to do with it. But yeah, Earth Defense Force. You essentially just play as a bunch of guys or a woman with a jetpack. You just run around the city, just blasting the ever-living crap out of everything that moves. I mean, there's no like rules to the game as such. I mean, there's no punishment for destroying things. If you see a big building, big tower top building or anything like skyscraper, you can just chuck rockets at it and just blow it up if there's an enemy running on it. I mean, you spend your game running around blasting giant insects which are about 3 or 4 times as big as you. Everything is huge compared to you in that game. And there's tons of chaotic destruction, there's things exploding around everywhere, and there's no punishment for destroying anything in the game. The game has no problem with it, you can blast your way. So it almost feels like a first-person version of a game like Geometry Wars or Smash TV or Robotron. In that he's basically just in a big giant square area which is just full of buildings that he just level down. He's running around blasting the ever-loving crap out of every single thing that moves, and levels of hundreds of things. I mean, you fight giant millipedes, spiders, ants, flying ants, Godzilla-sized monsters. Yeah. You got other parts of the stage. You have helicopters, tanks. You can fly around in mechs and all sorts of crazy things. Have a jetpack. They have really over-the-top corny dialogue intentionally on purpose to act as making fun of you. Yeah, Earth Defense Force. You can get it on PS2, 360, PS3. There's a lot of games in the series. Though if you are going to get it, the one I'd probably pick the least up is Insect Armageddon, because he has some really stupid ideas in that one. But pick the rest of them up because they're great games if you just want the mindless fun game. Right, number 7, Kirby. Yep, it's another series that I've never played a game of that's ever been bad. There's very few what you consider bad Kirby games. Yes, the games are fairly easy, but that's not really a problem in my opinion. And most of the Wario games are easy, but being easy doesn't make it bad. Sometimes the game being easy makes it better than a bad, better in some ways. Depends on the game. Yep, I can't see why anyone would not like Kirby. The very first Kirby game I ever got was Kirby's Dream Land on the Game Boy. Got it for my birthday years ago, and yep, I've been a fan since. And that's not much else I can really say. Most people know what Kirby is. So. Right, number 6. Now we're going into a thing that's not on Nintendo actually this time, and that's Shadow Hearts. This probably you may not have heard of, but it's an RPG series that solely was on just the PS2, but was a sequel to a PS1 game nobody remembers called Delca, which was an odd one. It was like it was like a clone of Resident Evil, pretty much in the camera and how it moved and all that. But the combat was like turn-based, like an RPG. It was a strange one. Well, anyway, Shadow Hearts is kind of similar because yeah, it's still an RPG, but this is more of a traditional one where you just run around talking to people, and you have this big like spinny wheel thing called a judgment wheel, and you have to hit all these spinning targets. And if you hit them perfectly on the spot, you do more damage. And if you hit them the wrong place, you miss. So it's not just hit a button and watch an attack. You have to pay attention to the screen. it's got very strange ideas in the game, and that's why I like it. So the characters are really out there in the series. You've got like vampires that think they're wrestlers and superheroes at the same time. You've got a kung fu cat, a dog which shoots out ghost dogs, Geppetto, who's an old man with a doll that shoots magic, a marionette that shoots magic attacks. And some normal, a spy. Yeah, there's no like knights or anything like traditional RPGs. This is a game set in like I think the series is set in like 1910 or something. I think the last one on the PS2 was 1930. I think the game's definitely set before World War One. Yep, but you get to walk around, you get to hang around, bump into all sorts of really weird things like fight Rasputin, and you even get to meet Al Capone in the game. Who's bizarre enough not a bad guy in this game for some reason. But yeah, the plots of the games is usually about demons taking over, and that's the way it gets to me. Where it gets even stranger is because the idea of the demons they have in the game are very strange looking creatures, like mutant things. I mean, you kind of like sort of things you expect in Silent Hill, but a lot of the dialogue in the game, especially in the later games in the series, is kind of goofy. But yeah, all the villains and all the areas like these deadly series based like mental asylums and stuff, but then your character's doing fart jokes. It's just a kind of strange idea. Not the longest RPGs in the world, they're only about 20 hours a piece, probably. That's not including like side quests and stuff, but unfortunately they are ones becoming more expensive over time. But if you like RPGs, I can't see why you would not like this series. You don't get many Japanese RPGs set in like a modern day setting. Well, not modern day, I mean early 19th century setting. It's kind of odd that way. Unfortunately, it's a dead series because, well, the developer of it kind of just went one day, oh, we don't want to make games anymore, we're just going to make slot machines and pachinko game machines. And because of that, they pretty much never let anyone re-release the game or make any more sequels to it out, so it's essentially dead. Which is pretty depressing, isn't it? This company also owned SNK for a while, but then gave them back. That's why SNK Play More exists. Well, anyway, so yeah, number 5, and this is another PS2 game series. It's actually only on PS2. It was never released on anything else, and that's Gungrave. So in this game, you play as a zombie gangster-like dude called Beyond the Grave, and you basically just take a lot of damage, and you're essentially just playing as a zombie gangster fighting, well, superpowered zombies. It's it's a very, very arcadey game. It's just you keep hold of fire and just jump around and blow the living crap out of anything that moves kind of game. There's not much of a story. They're pretty short games. I mean, both of them combined probably would take you under 6 hours to beat. First one you can do in under 2. In the first one you can just do in, if you don't die apparently, in under 2. That's at the point. They're meant to be simple, like more arcadey games, and they're nice and quick to play, and you get to blow loads of things up and lots of destruction and all that good stuff. Worth playing if you can find a copy cheap, which probably are cheap. Right, number 4, Parodius. Yeah. Now, yeah, I like Gradius, sort of like everyone else does, but Parodius was the first one I played, so yeah, but most people seem to know what Parodius is. It's that space shoot series by Konami where you just play as really weird things like flying pigs, penguins, guys on paper airplanes, and you just, well, just shoot a load of really random things to pieces. They've got very weird, typical Japanese sense of humour to them, and they're funny, but they're strange at the same time. That's the best description I put. Parodius games are highly worth playing. They're fairly easy space shooter games as well, and like lots of other ones, they're not that punishing. You probably, even if you're not amazingly good at these games, would eventually get through them because They never spam insane amounts of non-bullets on you like a lot of other games it's the space shooter genre do. So it's a nice start series as well. If you want to play a genre that, well, yeah, space shooters is, but the old genre of like doing weird Japanese ones, like weird sense of humour, seems to have unfortunately died, which is strange, but it just died as. Oh well, anyway, so number 3, Metal Slug. Here's another series I pretty much like all the main games in the series from. That includes the Game Boy Advance one. Yep, amazing graphics in these games, sprite work, good music, lots of explosions, all the good stuff that you'd want in an arcade action game pretty much. Metal Slug 3 still pretty much, in my opinion, one of the best sequels ever made in arcade, and just up there with things like Streets of Rage 2. Of course 4 was not as good, but that was expected, but they got better once they got 5 and 6, 7 were better than 4. I mean, 4's definitely the weakest in the series, but they're all worth playing at least once. Yeah, Metal Slug, everyone seems to know what that series is, so yep. Next one. Right, number 2. Now this is a series, the very first one I ever played was a Mega Drive, and it's Castlevania. So yep, the first one I played was Castlevania The New Generation, or Castlevania Bloodlines. Also, yeah, the Mega Drive one basically. Yes, and I played a lot of Castlevania games, lots of 2D ones. I've actually played all the Metroidvania ones. The last Castlevania game released, Lords of Shadow 2, I never bothered with though, because, in my opinion, the Castlevania Lords of Shadow series was never part of the Castlevania series. They just never felt like Castlevania games. I mean, they never had barely any music from them, which is something the series is like, remixing your own music. And games never did that. It just felt like a weird, like, Western-made God of War clone that someone just shoehorned Castlevania into the name of. Which earliest thing ever said about the game, just called it Lords of Shadow, then suddenly it got announced as a Castlevania game. And yeah, the Mirror of Fate, the 3DS one, is probably one of the crappiest. Actually, it is the crappiest handheld Castlevania game. I mean, RTM has such stupid ideas in it. It's like, really, why would you put fall damage in a Castlevania game? What was you thinking? It's not Prince of Persia. Why did Alucard have a whip? Like, yeah, everyone had the same attack weapon. It makes no sense. That game was just, I really don't recommend that game. It's not an awful game, and well, none of the Lords of Shadow games are technically really what I'd call awful. It's just they're not Castlevania games to me. And it's just a shame that was the series ended officially by Konami anyway. We should have made a proper Castlevania on the 3DS, but no, we got that rubbish instead. But yeah, I love the Castlevania series, monsters, music, everything. Well, I love all of them except Haunted Castle, but yeah, that one sucks. But yeah, even that series is one sucky one in it. And yep, yeah, number 1. You should have saw this one coming from a mile away, but it's Pokemon. Mostly the main game series of Pokemon, but I also like some of the spin-offs of Pokemon are really good as well. I played a lot of Super Pokemon Rumble, which is, I think, a free-to-play game, which is free-to-play anyway, so it didn't cost me any money, but I'm still, for some reason, playing that to this day, months later, and I'm still just trying to unlock all the areas. If you're not paid money, it takes a very long time, but it could be possible to do. But yeah, I love Pokemon. It's pretty obvious the reason why. I mean, I spent like, what, I spent over 600 hours on Pokemon X, and about 200, and at least every game in the series gets over 50 hours of playtime from me. Every main game in the series. So I play Pokemon a lot and get my money's worth. I have lots of special ones and all that. Love the mechanics, and I like everything about Pokemon really. So yeah, that was my top 10 game series. So thank you for listening and watching.